Yeah, but with salsa.
Oh.
Ooh, a water bottle.
Oh, sure.
There you go.
Awesome.
Did you want to spin?
Yeah, I'm going to spin.
And they are the only costume shoes. Yeah, I use it as costume shoes. Maybe they make a debut 4 or 5 times a year. What? Oh, no, I was someone that volunteered and jumped over the first show.
Must I say it again? Yeah.
You turned it into an eyeball. That's what we need to do with our roads in the city and shit. We put art on our streets.
Oh, yeah.
Like permanent art where the manhole covers and stuff are. That's what we should do.
Oh, that's, I know what this is called.
This one that goes just for and once again, well, I like you square.
Wow.
Awesome.
It is. Awesome, thank you.
Oh, here.
You own a bike. Why are you not on a bike?
Right.
What's with you?
It's in the garage. I was thinking about it, and then I'm like, it ain't that far. I'll just walk.
No, this is like 25 blocks. You're gonna walk all the way there. I would start getting walking because we want to be there front row. It's a good show. It's a real good show.
Okay.
I'm gonna film more of it. You'll see me there in the corner somewhere.
Are you gonna
You'll
be
see
there?
Me somewhere. I'm easy to spot.
Okay.
I'm just easy to spot. I have plenty of battery, which is good.
Yeah, I brought my
Just going to
extra one.
ice. So I'm gonna stop recording now, folks, and here have a good.
This one is so cute. I still think this is so cute. Yeah. They have this one out there at Tusher Cut. It's so cute.
Tomorrow we'll be picking up trash.
illegal.
You're on.
We are back out here at the open streets, and this is another garbage truck. This one is different. They have private seats on both sides. Yeah, that's this is Dublin. But it's neat. Stay tuned for more.
Should have seen that. They jump over me, like five girls, me, and this dude from the event. Major, just all over all of us on this tiny ramp. It flew right over us. It was me. Look at that, I'm still doing it. Oh, you have almost the same.
There used to be a bridge at this corner because there was a creek here. Because this part of downtown, which is now downtown, was very marshy. There was a bunch of little streams running through it, and it was so bad they needed a bridge there. Wait, it's at this corner. Pardon me, I'm looking on. It's at this corner. And if you stand down at the library plaza and look this way, you can see the street goes down and then back up. It's faint, but you can see it. And it looks like it's all dried up and it's gone, but it's really not. It's still there, it's just underground. And it is why the engineers who built Parkview Field had to put in a system of pumps underneath the outfield, because otherwise the grass would drown. Also, the library has pumps down in its basements because they've been up to keep water out there. Now there was another hotel up there, the WelCome Hotel, and down here where the Grand Wayne Center is on that side was the Keenan Hotel. That was a 12-story tall grand hotel, mahogany and marble, the whole shebang. And that hotel had a good 50-year run, but by the 1960s its rooms were too small and other companies were building newer hotels downtown. And in 1974, the same family still owned it. They decided we give up. This isn't working. There's been some fires and some problems. And 300 pounds of explosives later, boom, it was down. Parkview Field up here is widely credited to be the project that got the new liveliness of downtown started. A lot of people don't realize that this end of it is a public park, and that on days when there's no games, the gates are open and it's free. You can just walk in there and you can walk around. Everything inside there is shut up. You can walk around and there's signs that tell you how long a lap is, so if you want to count your mileage and that kind of stuff. And that was a good investment. And when we turn the corner and you get to see the embassy and the Indiana Hotel, that was part of the 1920s boom of development going this way and going that way in Fort Wayne. A really famous, nationally known theater designer designed the theater part of it, but Alvin Strauss, a very well-respected Fort Wayne-based architect who worked all over Indiana and the tri-state area, designed the hotel and the exterior of it. And you see the store windows that go along Harrison Street? Those are part of the hotel, and those are there on purpose because this was designed to be a businessman's hotel. And the salesmen who stayed there could rent one of those storefronts and show their wares there and sell them to people and demonstrate it to people. So that was on purpose. That's what those are for. And then the further into development on down here, we have the Lincoln National Library headquarters and the Federal Building, which was built in the 1920s. The Federal Building originally was the post office and federal courts. The post office had to get bigger, so it moved out, but that's still the federal courthouse, and it is still part of Lincoln National Life Insurance. And across the street, down here on the other side of good old Howard Hamburgers, is Baker Street Station, which was built in the 1920s as the Pennsylvania Railroad Station. During World War II, 3,000 people a day went back and forth through there, getting on and off of trains. And see that big clock down there?
Yeah.
That clock is made out of copper. It weighs 2,000 pounds, and it was originally in front of the People's Trust Bank on Calhoun Street. But the architectural firm that owns that and has its offices in there saved it and displays it out in front. It's also an event center. You can rent it. You can rent the big hall events. Okay, now if you go under this railroad elevation, that's the Pennsylvania station. The Wabash Railroad passenger station used to be on the other side of the track, but that's this one. And as we come out here, we are entering the neighborhood that was known as Irish Town. In the 1830s, a lot of Irish immigrants came to Fort Wayne, and they dug the Wabash Erie Canal. And they lived in this neighborhood from Fairfield over to about Calhoun, maybe Clinton Street. And this area became known as Irish Town. And that is why, as we go down here, we'll see that it has St. Patrick's Catholic Church. But by the 1920s, when the Irish Town was with Wayne, here's a building that was built to be a car dealership. The man who built that hired an architect to build his place. Remember, this is when the embassy and the federal building and the Lincoln Life were there. That man probably thought the world was coming his way when he opened his car dealership there.
Do you mind making sure we stop at Butler for me?
Okay, we need to stop at Butler. No, I think we're almost.
Yeah, I think we should almost be there. That was the second stop, so
Yeah, Butler should be at here. And anyway, there's St. Patrick's, and that was built from 1890 to 1917. This is because it's a church, it's a school, it's a lyceum, it's a rectory. And then gradually, because Irish Town, so this was kind of the other side of the track sort of neighborhood, so the Irish were not well-to-do. But then, well-to-do people started moving in here and building beautiful big houses. And that have pillars and towers and beautiful porches and fancy windows and things like that. And then you get, Simpson United Methodist Church being built.
Butler didn't pass it already.
Yeah, because there's Pontiac, sorry. I'm facing the wrong direction to see the signs, I'm sorry.
No, it's all good.
Do you want to ride around again, we'll drop you off next time?
No, I'm trying to get to the show that's going on at Welch's, so I'll just maybe hop off at Pontiac.
Okay. Okay, when we turn the corner, we're going to go past the side of the Rialto Theater, which was built in 1923 by a man who was a Greek immigrant to Fort Wayne. He had owned the Broadway Theater, but he sold that to build this. And it was designed by Alvin Strauss, the regional architect. There it is, and it was thought to be, praised as very beautiful. And Marilyn Maxwell, who became an actress and is from Fort Wayne, before she was an actress, she worked as an usher here. And Mr. Heliotis also owned the building north of here. And this is.
Thank you. I'll try to hop on. I'd love to hear the rest
sorry,
of
we
it.
missed it.
No, it's all good.
And he owned the building north of here, and it was the Rialto Furniture Company.
At one point, I think were they talking about reopening that sometime?
Well, Washington talked about it.
Yeah.
It's privately owned. It's a local historic district. It's protected. You just watch it out for the right next thing to do. I mean, theaters are a challenge.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, the Harrison Street neighborhood developed, as residential and then commercial, kind of a mix of that. The neighborhood we're going into developed as residential. The north part of it developed as the very oldest part of Fort Wayne, back in the 1830s and 40s and 50s. And then the south part of it developed, same times as that, after the Civil War, and then into the 20s and then 30s and 40s. But this neighborhood has something that that neighborhood doesn't. I'll tell you about it after. I like Popeyes. I think I'm going to get a sandwich for lunch sometimes. What's the next one? I like the kids stuff.
Yeah.
Just a minute. What this neighborhood has, the Harrison Street neighborhood doesn't have, is a big park. And this neighborhood has a reservoir park. And it is named Reservoir Park because in 1880, the city needed a way to add water pressure to its water utility, so it built this hill. And at the top of it, it built a 4.8 million gallon concrete tank, filled it with water from deep wells, and then used the height of it to create water pressure to get the water to people's homes. That worked great for a long time. In 1916, Reservoir Park was the site of the city's celebration of the state centennial. They put seating on the other side of the hill to seat 14,000 people. And over a week's time, 50,000 people attended the pageant that they presented on a stage on the island pond over there. William Howard Taft, the president, gave a speech to kick it all off. By the 1950s, the tank wasn't any good anymore, so the city needed to get rid of it. They wanted to just tear the whole thing down, but there were two problems. One, that was very expensive, and two, people liked the hill and wanted to keep it. So in the end,
I've been up there once.
they cut the top off the tank, drained it, filled it in, and left it up. So now we have our great city.
I like that you can see everything.
You can see that, yeah, it's very cool. Okay, see this elevation here?
Yeah.
Nobody ever talks about this. They talk about the north one because that was a problem. The north one wasn't done until 1954. This one was done, finished in 1923. So by the time we had cars, basically, this was elevated. It was never an issue down here. Now, and the Pennsylvania Railroad did that. Now, from here where the post office is, about 3 miles that way was the NC Railroad track. Huge industrial complex that built hundreds of locomotives and thousands of railroad cars for the Pennsylvania Railroad. We were big as a railroad center, and that was part of it. That was a big part of it. It wasn't the only shops the Pennsylvania Railroad had, but it was one of them. And we, in the end, didn't build the biggest locomotives in Pennsylvania. We built some of the fastest ones. Now, up here in a few blocks, we'll go past the Arch office, my office, which is one of the oldest buildings in town. It was built in 1841. And it is the only building still standing in town that has documented Underground Railroad activities. There are other sites in town that were part of the Underground Railroad, but they're not standing. But this one is still there. It's right up here. You can see it on the left. It's a little green house. Yeah. And then look at that right there real quick. That opened in 1924 as a filling station, believe it or not. It was advertised as Fort Wayne's most beautiful filling station, and it was Fort Wayne's first 24-hour service station. The part with the balcony on the second floor, that was the room where the overnight attendant could stay and sleep if nobody needed it. And there's the Art Museum and the Arch United Center. The Arch United Center is 50 years old this year, and it's old enough now to be officially nominated in the National Register of Historic Places, and that is underway. It's designed by an internationally renowned architect, and it's a very important building. People come from all over the world to see that building. And here's the gas house. And here's the gas house, which is called the gas house because when it was built by the predecessor of NIPSCO, they made gas here. This was back when you couldn't just get natural gas because they didn't have all the pipelines built. And so they put coal and coke and oil with steam under pressure and made what was called town gas. And that was done there. You can imagine that was a very toxic process. And that is why they keep having to do cleanups. They delay projects like this. And that was why NIPSCO had to do remediation several years ago. They closed halls for a while, which they used that time to do a lovely restoration of the inside of their building. Now, on the left side here, once you get past the bus area, there's a little stone building. That's an 1852 building. That was on the north side of the canal. That is John Brown's stone warehouse, stone mason. And he would get his materials off the canal, and obviously his building showed what he did, and he would move materials, do his thing, and sell his materials. This side of the road was known as the jail flats, and it was where Fort Wayne did its hangings, which were a big deal back then. People would come out in the countryside to watch the hangings, which I totally don't understand, but they did it. So, anyway, there that is. And now we're going around, and we're back.
Yeah. I mean, it goes over here too.
And into the 1850s, after which the canal activity really calmed down. None of those buildings are still here because they were not what the insurance companies call fireproof. They may have been built of brick, but they were wood on the inside, and once they caught on fire, they burned. I have read old newspaper articles about fires that burned 3 blocks in this area. These buildings are relatively new enough that they are considered fireproof by the insurance company. They're concrete on the inside. They have steel frames, and they are still here. Now, the oldest building on this block, left on the landing, is on the other end of it, on the south side, facing Calhoun Street. It's the Keystone Building where the prosecutor's office is. That was built in 1865. The other old buildings are on the north side, and they date from 1890 through 1917. They are fireproof, so they're still here. In the canal days, the buildings actually faced that way because the canal was where the railroad is now.
Oh.
But now they face Columbia Street, which before it was closed over there, went from here all the way over to the river, then continued on into what is now Lakeside. So there was this whole long stretch of Columbia Street, all of which was, related to the canal, and then it was just warehouses and businesses and wholesalers and all that kind of business. So this is what it is now. The landing has gone up, it's gone down, it's gone up, it's gone down, and this latest, really very good historical preservation project and renovation project, it's really on and up now. And you can see it's beautiful, people love it. A little girl on that last group, her dad painted the bison mural.
Oh, no way.
So that's really cool. Yeah. And because Fort Wayne has always been a transportation hub, first with the portage, then with the canal, then with the railroads, and even now with still railroads, but also highways, Fort Wayne needed what? Hotels, because there were people coming and going. So one of the themes while we go down this part of Harrison Street is kind of a hotel row. Yeah. On the middle of the south side of the landing was a big hotel called originally the Wayne Hotel. It was like 5 or 6 stories tall. Its last owner called it the Rose Marie, and it was destroyed in an arson fire in 1974. That parking lot is the site of the Randall Hotel, which was another 6 or 8 story hotel. And it was there, and it has been destroyed. Not that building, where the parking lot is. And now today, we got a new hotel. The black and white building down there is the Bradley. That's a new hotel that's being built. So it's still kind of got the theme going. And we'll talk about some more hotels as we go on down here. But Fort Wayne has always been a place where people come and go, and they need a place to stay while they're here. So we've always had plenty of hotels. And this is one of the streets that had a lot of them. Yeah. Because the nickel plate station was pretty close here. And the Pennsylvania station is right down the street. So this is an easy place to get from your train to your hotel from. Interestingly, it also had some good saloons. Where the Bradley is, on the corner, on its Main Street corner, in 1909, there was a saloon there that had a very famous murder, and with a really gross story. And the prosecutors brought the mauled skull of the victim into the courtroom as part of proving how the murder happened.
Yes.
And during Prohibition, another block down, there was one of the Fort Wayne's many speakeasies. It was in the city directory as a soft drink and candy shop, but that was pretty much code for speakeasy. And there was one night there was a big raid in town. That was one of the many places raided. There was also a place on Lower Hampton Road, and some place in Glendale, and that place was raided too. So South Harrison Street has interesting.
Look at the sunlight coming in. Find yourself some shade. There's still plenty of shade over here. 18 here, downtown Fort Wayne. You see the guys getting warmed up. Get you guys jacked up today for some high-flying BMX action. Yo, Super Blaster.
Kevin. What are you making today, Mr. Kevin?
A unicorn head.
Hey.